Harry's Wife, Part 67.9. The Hypocrisy of Ginge and Cringe. Hello, dear listeners. It's been a busy day already. I instructed the minions to remove the plastic forks from prepared salad boxes. Another set were instructed to replace all of the batteries in remote controls with dead ones. And, in a lovely little flourish, I sent 2 minions to remove all the toilet rolls from the toilets at the local call centre, knowing that the previous night they'd had a works outing with a heavy night of curry and beer. Anal Armageddon waits. I was contemplating preparing videos about You're So Flirtatious, the narcissist and paranoia, when the narcissist realizes life sucks without you, the narcissist and achievements, and other gems besides those. And they will be forthcoming, worry not. And I thought I'll take a little rest, a little hiatus from Harry's Wife. But of course, they will not let up, so neither will I. And therefore, our first video comes as a courtesy, or rather comes courtesy of, The Super Soaraway Sun, which runs an article by Alice Fuller and Ben Hill. And it points out something which many people recognise, apart from, of course, the brain-dead shuggers, which is, it's ludicrous. Prince Harry and Harry's wife demanding privacy is farcical, as they do nothing but put themselves in the public eye. Prince Harry and his wife demanding privacy is farcical, as they do nothing but put themselves in the public eye, a royal insider has claimed. Harry, 36, announced his upcoming memoir, which is set to make explosive revelations about his life growing up in the royal family, his relationship with his wife, 39, and leaving the firm during Brexit. Royal expert Phil Dampier said the couple's demands for privacy, while at the same time promoting projects revealing intimate information about their lives, were ludicrous. And indeed, Mr. Dampier is entirely correct. And this provides us with a straight out of the stalls example of the hypocrisy that exists. Harry's wife's unaware narcissism means that she has to control in the moment. So it's now, and now, and now, and now. Whoever she's dealing with must be either under control and kept under control, or, if they're not, they must be brought under control, any threat being nullified. This is the same for any narcissist, but of course, the ability of the narcissist to achieve this varies dependent upon the school of narcissist in terms of effectiveness. Many narcissists will ultimately obtain control, but with collateral consequences. Other narcissists do so without those collateral consequences. The latter category are your more evolved narcissists, the greaters and the ultra. One of the things that is entirely evident when it comes to the lesser and mid-range narcissists is that they are noticeably hypocritical. They don't see this because their narcissism blinds them to it, and therefore Mr. Dampier's announcement that their behaviour is ludicrous, whilst it is accurate, and he's probably scratching his head as to why they don't see it. The simple answer, Mr. Dampier, is that Harry's wife is a narcissist and therefore she's blinded to what she actually sees. Her narcissism doesn't allow her to witness that what she is doing is hypocritical. It instructs her, in effect, by causing her to think in a particular way and feel in a particular way at 9 a.m. to do one thing, and then the next day, or it could be later that day, or even 2 minutes later, her narcissism causes her to think and feel to do something else. and what happens at 9 a.m. and 9:30 a.m. could be diametrically opposed. An example of this, of course, is provided by the article. Repeated protestations about privacy, yet turning up absolutely fucking everywhere in terms of PR and appearances and commentary and announcements. Where's the privacy in that? And of course, it's typical of the narcissist to want to have the cake and eat it. Harry, blinded, of course, doesn't see the hypocrisy. He falls for the lines that are explained to him, the explanations that are given, and in some instances, it's simply a case of it's better to remain sat in the corner by the coal scuttle, saying nothing, rather than speaking out and receiving another cold shoulder or a put down. Those of you who've been ensnared by narcissists recognise those moments where you realise that something was off, something was wrong, something was inappropriate and unnecessary, but you kept quiet because it was just easier to do so than speaking out. Harry's wife is unable to see these hypocrisies. She is unable to see that on the one hand, she is more ubiquitous than Japanese knotweed, and yet then cries foul in terms of, we want privacy. The cries for privacy are, of course, an assertion of control. So where the media is seen as intrusive, because they are criticising what they're doing, you must respect our privacy and stay away. And that is said to nullify the threat to control posed by critical commentary. Then, of course, moments later, another announcement, another PR puff piece through hello comes out. And that is done to assert control. So there's a nullification of control by crying out for privacy, and then the assertion of control by adopting a scattergun approach with regard to PR. Entirely hypocritical, entirely consistent with the behaviour of the narcissist. It arises as a consequence of the compartmentalization. Each moment is hermetically sealed, and the narcissist acts within that moment. It's only connected to another moment if the narcissism decrees that it's necessary. So, for example, bringing up the past or future faking is linking a moment in the now to one that has passed or one that is yet to pass, and that is where a connection is made. However, that is only done because of the convenience of the narcissism. Returning to the article, Mr. Dampier told The Sun Online, it is one of the great ironies of Harry and Harry's wife's departure that they said one of the reasons they wanted to go was to have some privacy and get away from the prying eyes of the press and public, and seemingly since then they've done nothing but put themselves in the public eye. It's just reaching farcical proportions. Of course it is. But they don't see it. She, because her narcissism blinds her to it. Harry, because he swallows and toes the party line. They said they didn't cooperate with Finding Freedom, the book that the improbably named Omid Scobie wrote, and then later on it emerged that they had some input into it. Hypocrisy. At the time it suits to say we're not involved, and later on it suits to say, yes, we are involved. The narcissist will face both ways at once. We will turn upside down, inside out, back to front, and round and round and round, in order to ensure that we get those prime aims. Because there is no constancy, because there is no solid core, we are able to do this. And of course, the narcissism protects unaware narcissists from realize this is what they are doing. So a cry of hypocrisy is, of course, a threat to control and is immediately nullified by denial, deflection, the revision of history, and many other manipulations that you care to mention. Mr. Dampier continues, we've had the Oprah Winfrey interview. We've had the James Corden interview. We've had various other interviews and podcasts, and now the book. It is just ludicrous to suggest that they want to have a private life, because if they did, they wouldn't be drawing attention to themselves. Absolutely right, Mr. Dampier. And it's all the hypocrisy of the narcissist. Despite Harry saying he will donate the proceeds from his book to charity, Mr. Dampier said he believed the couple were planning more lucrative deals, following on the heels of their multi-million-pound deals with Netflix and Spotify. Absolutely, residual benefits. He said, although Harry's giving the money for this one to charity, although that's not quite right, he suggested that there will be a donation to charity. It's not all proceeds, but the proceeds, and it remains to be seen just how much will be going to charity. And of course, no prizes for guessing which one it will be. Begins with A, answers on postcard. Mr. Dampier said, although Harry's giving the money for this one to charity, obviously a lot of the other things he and his wife have been doing have been money-making exercises. Well, of course, that's what it's all about. She doesn't do it out of the goodness of her heart, although she thinks she does. She thinks that she is a beacon of women's empowerment, that she is the chief banana empowerer placed upon this planet, and to do good, to be authentic, to be organic, to work in togetherness and inclusivity. She doesn't realise, of course, that the real reason that everything she does is in pursuit of the prime aims, control, fuel, character traits and residual benefits. Mr. Dampier continues, it just makes you wonder what's coming next. Wonder indeed. Who knows, Harry's wife will probably write her memoir as well. It's odds on that she will. Why would she waste an opportunity to smear people left, right and centre to assert control and, of course, get her hands on some delicious filthy lucre? She's already tried to cash in with her children's bug. We were never told the money from that. The bench was going to charity, so there is definitely still that option for her to do a bug. Mr. Dampier also said the Queen, Charles and William, would be in despair over Prince Harry's memoir announcement and that the Duke is being disrespectful to his grandmother by releasing his memoir in her Platinum Jubilee year. Yes, he is. But her Madge may well strike back. More on that later. In a statement from his £11 million mansion in Montecito, California, Harry, 36, said he was writing the book not as the prince I was born, but as the man I have become. He continued, I've worn many hats over the years, both literally and figuratively. Now, of course, I'm on the leash. Well, actually, he didn't say that. I did. And my hope is that in telling my story, or rather, what I'm told to say by my wife, again, what I've said, not what he said, the highs and lows, the mistakes, the lessons learned, you haven't learned anything, but you're going to have a very unpleasant lesson to learn. Ginger Prince. The Duke signed with publisher Penguin Random House and will be donating any fee to charity after making tens of millions of dollars with Netflix and Spotify. The publisher said it was an honest and intimate autobiography, sparking fears of more revelations after his Oprah interview with Harry's wife accused the royal family of racism. The explosive televised chat sent shockwaves through the palace and made the existing rift between Harry and his brother and father even deeper. Now, Mr. Dampier, who has been writing about the royal family for 30 years, thinks their fractured relationship will worsen still thanks to Harry's decision to publish a first-hand account of his privileged life. This book is not going to make the rift any better, he said. Clearly, it is as bad as ever. If he was healing the rift with his family, particularly his brother, he wouldn't be coming out with this book, which is clearly going to cause more hurt. Mr. Dampier, identifying the clear and obvious hypocrisy that is engaged in, and so many people do, apart from, of course, the brain-dead sugars. The hypocrisy is evident, but many people don't understand what's behind it, and it is, as I've just explained, the hypocrisy of narcissism, and why that hypocrisy exists. Harry's wife's literary magnus opus, The Bench of Stench, was mentioned. But there's more about this. Let's wander over to part 67.10 and learn more about what's happening with the Bench of Stench.